Hey there, you are locked and loaded on another edition of Birds Weekly, powered by the Inside the Birds Network. That man, the historian, the legend, the Hall of Famer is Ray Didinger. I'm Derrick Gunn. And as Jalen Hurts walked off the field after Sunday's win over the Minnesota Vikings, you can hear him saying, "We're not losers anymore." And they're not. They snapped a two-game slide to beat the Vikings 28-22. Ray, but before we get to the X's and O's and the pluses and minuses of this game, breaking news starts to surface on Sunday, and it seems to be truer and truer as we get further along that our old friend and two-time Super Bowl champion, Brandon Graham, could be coming out of retirement to help this team. And, boy, they need some help because they have 11 quarterback sacks, only one by an edge rusher, and that's from Zadarius Smith. He's no longer with the team.
Right.
But it also tells you, Ray, how little there was out there that Howie Roseman had to choose from, that he had to go dig in the closet and bring back BG. Now, we're still waiting to confirm this, but your thoughts on Brandon Graham even considering coming back after being off for 8 months and enjoying TV and podcasts and things like that?
I know. There was some speculation about this a couple weeks ago that this was not far-fetched, that this could actually happen. Ultimately, it's his decision. Does he want to do it? You know, let's face it, he has the perfect exit, right? I mean, he won the Super Bowl, got the second ring, had what I thought was one of the most beautiful exit press conferences ever. I thought, what he said in the auditorium that day in saying his goodbye was really beautiful. I mean, it was almost poetic the way he went out. And talked to the media, all the reporters that were there, and instead of turning it around on them and saying, "You guys tried to bury me. You guys said I was a bust," and he didn't. He said, "Listen, you guys made me accountable, and you guys helped drive me to have the career that I had," and actually thanked them. These guys who were at one time, of which, hey, listen, I was one of them too. I wanted Earl Thomas, so I'll admit it. But he didn't, there was no, and I don't think it's his nature. I mean, he just doesn't have a mean bone in his body. And he just wanted to go out, take the high road on the way out, and he did. And then he had that beautiful final line where he said that my life changed when I came to this magical place, Philadelphia. I've seen a lot of athletes come and go in this town. I've never seen any of them refer to Philadelphia as this magical place, but he did. So it was the perfect way to go out. And who would blame him if he chose to just, I'm going to leave it at that. But I think part of it is his loyalty to the team. They're the only team he's known. He's had his whole career here. Regardless of what happens, whether he comes back or doesn't, he will always be beloved in this town. But, I think that he has that little bit of a inside of him that he knows this team needs help right now at the position that he once played. And I think, Derek, I think he's going to do it. I really do. And you know what? I think he can help. Because let's face it, I mean, they are just short on bodies right up there now. I mean, they'll get Nolan Smith back. He's not out for the year. He'll be back at some point. But right now, they need help on the edge, and even if it's just, 15 snaps a game, I think Brandon could help you, and it's the timing of it is kind of good. You got the bye coming up, so you got that extra week in there for him to kind of work and get ready to come back, and then come back with the Monday night game in Lambeau. Right now, if you were to ask me to bet it, I'm thinking he's going to come back. And if he wants to and his family's okay with it, fine by me.
I think beyond just the physical element and presence of having him back on the field, his value extends far beyond that. His locker room leadership, his mentorship, he's always been like a big brother to younger players who have come in through the organization. He is the perfect ambassador for the Philadelphia Eagle. He is everything that Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie want as an ambassador for that organization. He is everybody's friend. He is one of the nicest trash talkers you have ever seen in the National Football League. I mean, there's no Fletcher Cox now to calm him down and shut him up during a game, so he can freelance. But he's one of the best trash talkers out there. But he keeps it clean, and he keeps it above the level, above sea level. He doesn't get dirty or personal with it. But I just think his presence alone in that locker room is a breath of fresh air, and as you said, much needed, because the edge position on this team is non-existent. When you look at this team now, they have 11 QB sacks, only 11 QB sacks, and only one from an edge rusher. That's shocking, and it just tells you how much they're hurting from the players they lost during last season's free agency period. And I know they're going to pay him a decent buck. He won't kill them financially. And if he comes back, and like you said, Ray, when you said 15 snaps, I was thinking that exactly. I can't see them playing him more than 15 snaps, maybe in pass rushing situations, which is what he's perfect for coming off that edge.
Right. Oh, I agree. And, I remember, I guess it was after week 1. I guess it was after the opener, the Dallas game, when Jalen Carter had that kerfluffle with Dak Prescott before the game even really started and got himself kicked out of the game. One of the things that you and I talked about was that this defense, it's so young now because all of those veterans are gone. And saying, a real veteran leader at that moment may have been able to step in there and take Jalen Carter and say, come on, don't be doing something stupid now. Get yourself thrown out of the game. And might have saved him at that moment. If you had that veteran guy there to do that, and you and I were both speculating. Look, I think they got some good young players there. I think they got talent there. Yeah. But who's the leader on this defense now with Cox gone and with Slay gone and with BG gone? Well, if BG can come back and give them that 12 to 15 snaps a game, but also be that veteran leader for that team, I think it makes him better. I think it helps. Now, ultimately, he has to decide if he wants to put himself through this again, if he feels like physically he's capable of doing it again. But I would like to see him do it. I mean, if it works for him, it works for me. And I really do think that he will give you some pass rush there. He would help you, give you a little something off the edge. But I also think in terms of what you kind of alluded to, that veteran leader on the defense, I think he would fill that role beautifully.
Well, that story coming out is shocking enough in itself. The second biggest story is the name Jalen Hurts is synonymous with perfect on this particular Sunday against the Minnesota Vikings. 19 of 23, 326 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a perfect QB rating of 158.3. Only the third Eagles quarterback in history to ever achieve that lofty accolade. Ray, 2 questions in one. Was this the best passing game you've ever seen from Jalen Hurts, or is it second to what he did in the Super Bowl this year against Kansas City?
I think it's comparable, but maybe if one game's the Super Bowl, so maybe you got to sort of give it up to the Super Bowl just because of the magnitude of the game. But this wasn't a Super Bowl, but it sure felt like a big game to me. Yeah. Given where this team was. I mean, they needed a big effort, and they needed a big effort from the quarterback, and he gave them one. And you're right. I mean, by the statistical measure of passer rating, quarterback efficiency rating, that 158.3 is a very rare number, and it's only been Nick Foles had it the one time that he threw the 7 touchdown passes out in Oakland to tie a league record. And the other one was Donovan, the game against Detroit, that game when they unveiled those horrible yellow uniforms. He did it that day too. And now you've got this game. We've seen a lot of really good quarterback play here, but we've only seen 3 games now that reached that level. And this was one of them. And he was great. I mean, he was really, really great. I mean, we could talk about the deep balls that he hit, and they were beautiful throws. But to me, what was maybe even the bigger one was the 3rd and 13 when he scrambled out.
Oh, yes.
Got away from the pressure at a time when, let's face it, that game was kind of like this. And you didn't want to give the ball back to Minnesota in that spot. And he gets out of the pocket, extends the play, A.J. Brown does a really good job of coming back to the ball, but staying at the sticks. And Jalen hits him with the perfect pass, and they convert that first down and then go in for the touchdown that really kind of gets control of the game. But that was, I mean, it doesn't go up. It's not quite on the level of the touchdown passes, but in the ebb and flow of the game, huge play. And he made it. And he was there was that one stretch after the opening drive that in the second quarter, the offense, as they have done all year, just kind of went flat. But then in the second half, man, he came out smoking and took apart what has been up to this point a very good Minnesota defense against the pass. I mean, nobody was throwing the ball successfully against this defense. And he went out in the second half and he just lit them up.
Hey, you know that one guy in the group chat who hit a 5-leg parlay week 1 and he wouldn't shut up about it for the rest of the season? Sounds like Kaplan, right? Yeah, it could be him. It could be you, and we would all want to be you. MyBookie makes it stupid easy to get in on the action, whether it's college ball, NFL, super contest, and survivor pools, all the spreads, player props, and in-game lines that you could want all under one roof. What more could you want than that? If you're new to MyBookie, use our code, THEBIRDS, THEBIRDS, the birds. Use the code, and any bet you choose up to $500 is fully covered. Make your play, and if it doesn't hit, you get it right back when you opt in using your bet back bonus token. There is no better time to jump in right now. No better place to play. Football is back. Let's make some money with MyBookie. Hey, fall is planting season. Did you know that many plants and trees actually do better when planted this time of the year? But you got to know where to start, and that's why I love fastgrowingtrees.com. Doesn't matter if you live in the sunny south or if the air's getting a little chilly where you are, the plant experts can help you find the perfect fit for your space. They've got everything your yard needs: fruit trees, privacy trees, shrubs, flowering trees, so much more. And Fast Growing Trees makes it so easy for you to have your dream yard because you can order online and get your plants delivered directly to your door. If you're like me, you're tired of spending way too much money on landscaping. And if you walk into one of those nurseries and you look at all the stuff they have, you have no idea where to begin. That's why you need fastgrowingtrees.com. Doesn't matter about the size of your yard. They got over 6,000 plants to fit any space, and a 14-point quality checklist ensures you will get the best quality plants possible. This fall, they have the best deals for your yard, up to half off on select plants and other deals. And listeners to our show get 15% off their first purchase when using the code BIRDS at checkout. 15% off at fastgrowingtrees.com using the code BIRDS at checkout. Now's the perfect time to plant. Use BIRDS to save today. The offer is valid for a limited time. Terms and conditions may apply. Check out the link below or in the show notes and support the show.
You know, I've been asked this question a number of times since the games ended, and I can't give anybody a definitive answer. So I'll ask you, my friend. We've seen Jalen have stellar passing games before, but why can't he do this consistently? We see him beat the blitz some games like immaculately, and then other games it's like it's the first time he's ever seen a blitz. What do you think is this stumbling block, Ray, in terms of not being more consistent, putting up numbers like this? Now, granted, last year they relied on a running game, but he's had his opportunities to have big passing games. Few times he has, many times he has not.
Yeah, good question. I don't know. I mean, he's working with the same group of receivers, and as a group, they're excellent. I mean, you saw how good Brown and Smith are. No surprise. I mean, we knew that, but you certainly saw it on Sunday. You know, Goddard, to me, is one of the 5 or 6 best tight ends in the league. So he's got those guys out there. From week to week, yeah, I don't know. I mean, last year was an odd year in the sense that the way this offense kind of hit the reset button 4 weeks in and decided we're going to start running the ball. You know, all of a sudden, Jalen's role became a different role. You know, and he didn't like the idea when people said he was, you know, that he was just a game manager, that he was just a facilitator, that the key to the offense was Saquon Barkley. But when he came to the Super Bowl and the Kansas City Chiefs really put the clamps on Saquon Barkley and you needed your quarterback to step up, he did big time. We've certainly seen that. I think last year was just sort of a change because the offense changed and he had to change his role within it. But to me, he's been, I think he's been better than people give him credit for, to be honest with you. I really do. I just feel like, and listen, those of us that have been in this town for a long time, following this team for a long time, quarterbacks in this town, they don't get cut a lot of breaks. I mean, it really is very much a week-to-week existence that you're on. The last couple of games, yeah, you were good, and then have one bad game, and all of a sudden, I don't know if this guy's the guy. I mean, how many times have we heard that said about everybody? Said about Foles, said about Wentz. I mean, I remember him saying it, about Sonny Jurgensen. I mean, back in the day. I mean, so they've all gone through it. I think it goes with the scrutiny that goes with the position, that sometimes you're hyper criticized. And I think in this town, it's maybe a little bit worse than most. But to me, I mean, if you just look at the numbers that this guy's put up over time, the passing numbers, yes, but most of all, the numbers of wins versus losses. I think he's been an outstanding quarterback. And in this game where, listen, I mean, you and I both used the term looking ahead to this game at the end of last week. You and I both refer to this as a crossroads game for this team, coming off the two, what I consider bad losses, the Denver loss and the horrible loss in New York.
Yeah.
A lot of question about, here we go, it's 2023 again. I mean, that feeling was out there, Derek, and a lot of people were saying it. And on a day when, listen, he wasn't getting any help from the running game. I mean, it was really all on him. And in the second half there, he got you a win that you needed to keep your season going.
Yeah, they opened the game with a 12-play, 75-yard drive. They chew up 8 minutes, 1 second on the clock. They converted 2 fourth downs. And, of course, the capper was a 4th and 4. Jalen buys time, and you see him motioning his hand to AJ to go, just go. Floats a beautiful strike to AJ for a 37-yard touchdown. I tell you what, Ray, in terms of command, and that time he told AJ to go wasn't the only time he threw a little hand signal at a receiver. He did the same thing to Devontae Smith at one point in the game as well. You talk about synchronized. Man, if they could just do that consistently, I think people wouldn't worry so much about the running game if that aerial attack was as potent as it was Sunday against the Vikings.
Yeah, I think so. And that was a beautiful drive. I mean, they actually ran the ball pretty successfully in that. But the big plays were through the passing game, and every phase of the offense just seemed to be in sync there. I mean, that's the one thing that you and I have both talked about over these shows is, there doesn't seem to be any rhythm in this offense. There doesn't seem to be any real flow to this offense. They hit a play here, they hit a play there, but there's nothing that feels consistent. But that was one of those, everything was just clicking and you just moved it down the field. And you had the feeling watching them, they're going to score a touchdown here. I don't know if it's going to be a run or a pass, but they're taking it in the end zone here because you just felt that. You hadn't felt that for this offense really all year. But you felt it there. And then over the next 3 or 4 possessions, it goes away again. But it was certainly there in that one. But you're right. I mean, I thought that Hurts threw some, and he throws a great deep ball. He really does. He really throws a great deep ball, which is why over the last couple of weeks in these 2 losses, he had guys wide open and missed them. He had Smith wide open in one game and missed him. I mean, wide open, just as open as he was here and missed them. And a similar thing with Brown. Had Brown wide open and missed him. He doesn't normally do that. He normally is very good on the deep ball. And in this game, he had 5 throws that were more than 20 yards in the air, and he hit all 5 of them. There aren't many quarterbacks in the league that'll go 5 for 5 on a 20-plus air ball. But he did it, and that's pretty much the way he was, especially the whole second half. He was really on point.
After that opening scoring drive, they had 4 consecutive possessions. They get nothing. And I don't know about you. I'm sitting there at halftime going, are you kidding me? Are we going to have to go through this again where they can't find their way? But luckily, that was not the case. But, you know, there's still certain elements of this offense that are not clicking. I don't know if you attribute it to, as you know, Jordan Mailata said last week, lack of focus. I don't know if it's what Lane Johnson said, predictability. But there's still uneven ground here in terms of finding that smooth road and getting this offense to be that consistent machine that we all expect it to be.
Right, and ultimately need to be.
Yes.
I mean, if the real end game here is getting back to the Super Bowl and winning it, then you need to have that. You know, I mean, you're 5-2 now against what has been a pretty tough schedule. I'll give them that. But yeah, do you really think this team's going to win a Super Bowl, another Super Bowl, go back to back with Saquon Barkley averaging 2.5 yards a carry? I don't think so. You know, they have to work that out. But one of the things that they did introduce in this game, which I think kind of addresses the Lane Johnson point that you mentioned about the predictability. I mean, this game, they actually had Hurts under center more.
Yeah, 20 snaps under center.
Which now I don't know how much of that maybe had to do with having to change the center. You know, maybe they were a little less confident with Toth in there as opposed to Juergens about his ability to make the longer snap. Maybe that had some bearing on the idea that they put Hurts under center more. Or maybe it was just a tactical thing where they wanted to give the defense a different look and, in my view, more importantly, set up play action. You know, I mean, it's a lot easier and more effective, I think, to do play action with the quarterback being under center. I just think it works better that way. And, you know, you watch NFL games all weekend. You watch multiple games and you watch the highlight shows. I mean, most of your big plays in the passing game are play action plays. I mean, that's play action sets up the deep ball all the time. It does for most teams. And coming into this game, the Eagles had fewer snaps with the quarterback under center than any team in football. I mean, they had become really typecast as a pure shotgun team. And I think that kind of, if you read between the lines of what Lane Johnson was saying, I think that was certainly one of the things he was talking about was I think we're kind of painted ourselves into a corner here and put the quarterback under center, and it opens up another whole phase of the passing game. And certainly in this game, you really saw, I thought it worked a lot. And, you know, now if the New York Giants again as your next opponent, now they got to think about that. Whereas a week ago, maybe they didn't.
Sports are all about competition. Every snap, every possession, every clutch moment matters. That same energy is what 1v1 Me brings to video games. Every single day, you can watch and stake on matchups in Madden, NBA 2K, FC, and Call of Duty Search and Destroy. All the games are streamed live. Every match has refs, and payouts are instant. And these aren't just random online lobbies. These are the best players in the scene, pros, streamers, and rivals. With season playoffs and the championship game on the line, every game matters. Over $100 million has already been paid out on the app, and the community is growing fast. If you're a sports fan, a gamer, or just someone who loves having a little extra on the line, 1v1 Me is where you need to be. It's not just about winning, it's about the bragging rights too. Every match has a chat going crazy, and you can back your picks in real time. Download today and use code BIRDS. Your first stake on the app is risk-free. That's code BIRDS for a risk-free first stake. Hey, Philly fans, game day is stressful enough. Parking, traffic, long lines. We've all been there. But when it comes to your cannabis, Camden Apothecary makes it easy. This is the dispensary for sports fans, just minutes outside of Philly. With plenty of free parking, you'll be in and out fast, no hassle, no waiting. And they don't just care about convenience. Camden Apothecary is all about the guest experience. Their staff makes sure you feel taken care of every time you walk in. Plus, they carry only the best quality cannabis at the fairest prices. So whether you're stocking up for the tailgate, the watch party, or celebrating a big win, you know you're getting the good stuff without overpaying. They even show love to the community with specials for fans, students, service members, and healthcare pros. Camden Apothecary, top quality cannabis, great prices, and an experience made for Philly fans 21 and up.
You were talking about the center position. When Cam Juergens went down with a knee injury, Saquon had 6 carries for 28 yards. Brett Toth comes in, and Saquon has 12 carries for 14 yards. I don't know if there's a definitive answer to the center position, and obviously the center position is the engine that runs that offensive line.
Yeah. Well, I have a suggestion.
Yeah. No, don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it.
We're bringing BG out of retirement. How about Jason Kelsey?
Oh, geez.
I mean, I'm kidding, but I'm not kidding. I mean, I know he's got like a million things going on, and it's probably not even a realistic thing to even float. But honestly, with the uncertainty now about when Jurgens coming back, if he's coming back, and what that means to the offensive line as a whole, because Derek, they don't have a lot of depth up there.
No,
they really don't. And in the context of talking about Brandon Graham coming back, it actually occurred to me: would Howie actually place a call to the Kelsey house and say, can I talk to Jason for a moment? I don't think it's going to happen, but it occurred to me. But assuming that's not on the table, okay, you're going to have to find an answer somewhere. And what do you do? I mean, would it be Toth? I mean, you could, if you wanted to. I mean, you could put Dickerson at center, which he certainly played at Alabama, and I think you'd probably be more comfortable with him handling the shotgun snap. But now you're moving him to another position when he's obviously an all-pro guard. Is that a more feasible option? And if that's the case, what position can Toth play at this point? To be honest with you, I mean, he's had some opportunities, and he hasn't been very good. And I know that the coaches have talked about, he's doing a good job. Well, I mean, I'm not so sure. I mean, if Jurgens really isn't an option for them right now, and listen, Jurgens has had his problems this year too. I think it looked to me like he's been trying to overcome this back thing all season, and he's had trouble too. But they have to find some answers in there. Johnson and Mailata, I think you're fine on the outside, but the interior there, which is a big part of the Barkley game and a big part of the running game, just hasn't been able to move people off the line of scrimmage. And losing your starting center isn't going to help. They have to find an answer there now. And I don't know. I'm sure they're thinking about moving Dickerson over, but there's probably some sentiment that no, let's just leave him at guard. We know he's a really good guard, and we'll just do what we have to do at center. But it's a less than ideal situation. You and I talked about it back at the end of the preseason, saying, okay, we've had 4 preseason games to look at this team. What do you think? And one of the things I think we both talked about was, look, none of the starting offensive linemen played. So we had a good long look at the backups. And I wasn't sure that if they had injuries on the offensive line, that they had the guys that could step in and play effectively. Right. And I think we've seen that to this point.
Can we talk about our old friend Carson Wentz for just a moment? I mean, Carson Wentz is going to do what Carson Wentz does. And Sunday, I think, basically showed why he's with his 6th team in the last 6 years. You talk about some boneheaded plays. Now, he made some decent plays, some decent throws, but 2 in particular in back-to-back series. First of all, he throws that pick 6 to Jalen Hunt. Now, granted, Jalen Carter barreled down on him and forced him to make that throw. I would have thrown the ball away. And secondly, he rolls right and throws the equivalent of a punt that's picked up by Makumba. And I'm thinking O'Connell has had some problems. Has got some problems with the quarterback situation until he can get J.J. McCarthy back, because Carson Wentz ain't the answer.
I mean, they had some TV cutaways to the Vikings sidelines, and some of the looks on O'Connell's face after some of those plays. I mean, you could just read his mind. It was like, what are you thinking? I mean, a couple of those plays, and to your point, what you said a moment ago, I mean, there were stretches where he actually played pretty good.
Yeah.
But isn't that what we've seen with this guy before?
Yes.
It was for Eagles fans watching, it really was a flashback to to those days
Mm-hmm.
because Wentz had stretches like that where he would play really good for a while. And at the end of the day, you looked at his numbers and say, oh, yeah, pretty good. Look at how he threw for 300 yards and blah, blah, blah. But there would always be those 3 or 4 plays in the middle of it that were just like, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. And I mean, the intentional grounding down in the red zone was just, I mean, that's one of those plays where you have no idea what he was thinking because there's a receiver that's open in the left flat. Mm-hmm. I mean, wide open. And it's not like he doesn't see him. I mean, there's a point where he looks and you can almost tell he sees him. Mm-hmm. Oh, he doesn't throw it. He holds it. And now he's really in trouble. And now I'm just, okay, I'm not going to take the sack. I'm just going to ground it. Grounding it in the red zone, taking that penalty and lost it down. I mean, that's the kind of play, if it was a rookie free agent, from Franklin Marshall or something, you'd say, well, that's what you get. But a 10-year veteran, I mean, but you wonder at this point, and the Vikings are by no means out of it. I mean, they're still hanging in there. I mean, you wonder if the Vikings, and I'm sure it's being asked out in Minnesota, wouldn't we have been better off keeping Daniel Jones? Mm-hmm. I mean, you look at the way Daniel Jones is playing in Indianapolis, and they're thinking, well, we could have kept him, but we decided to just let him go because we want to commit to McCarthy. And okay, we'll just go get Wentz as a backup. You could have kept the guy who's in the discussion for MVP right now because I was never the world's biggest Daniel Jones fan, and we saw him plenty in the NFC East. But you got to give it up to him right now. I mean, he's balling out there in Indianapolis.
Yeah, he is.
And for the first couple of weeks, I was saying, oh, come on, he's at some point he's going to turn into Daniel Jones again. Maybe not. I mean, the Vikings had a couple of other options. I mean, they had the kid that used to be with the Jets.
Now you got me thinking.
Sam
Darnold, yes.
They had him and they had Daniel Jones, and they let them both go, and they're both playing really well. And they wanted to commit to McCarthy, the young guy. Okay, I kind of get that, but look where you are now. And I'm thinking as somebody from Philadelphia who watched all of Carson Wentz's time here, and the organization's commitment to he is our franchise quarterback, and that level of frustration that came with watching him week after week after week, all but for the 2017 season. But every week that followed, boy, watching that game on Sunday, it brought back memories.
Hey, good to see Nakobe Dean back in the middle, finally. Yes. He was in on 6 tackles, had a tackle for a loss. Ray, his ability to disrupt straight ahead, his lateral pursuit in terms of tracking down ball runners, it's still a work in progress overall, but having him back in there sure does help calm things down a bit.
Yeah, and I thought he played really good.
Yes.
For his first game back. I know he played some special teams the week before in the Giants game, but this was his first time really back in the defense, and I thought he made a difference. I mean, there were a couple aspects of it. Just having him there on the field, I think, helps because I think he's a really smart and effective player. But the other part of it was having him there allowed Vic Fangio to move Jahad Campbell over to the edge and let him play more as an edge rusher, which, as you alluded to a few moments ago, they need better play on the edge. Mm-hmm. So now they could put Campbell out there and let him do more of that if they had Nakobe back as linebacker. So, yeah, getting him back really helps. I think that he's such a smart and more than smart, just instinctive player. He sees the field really well. He finds the ball, and he's for a team that has been, let's face it, not a great tackling team to this point. I mean, he's a very effective tackler.
Yeah, I don't think we can say enough, and we've given him probably every accolade we can possibly give him. But Jalen Carter's presence in the middle of that defense, I tell you what, it makes a world of a difference. And obviously, he gets through, puts the pressure on Carson. Carson throws the pick 6. But when Jalen Carter's healthy, and we're still not sure how close to 100% that heel injury is, but I tell you what, Jalen Carter at 85-90% is better than no Jalen Carter at all in the trenches.
Yeah, no question. And I mean, what a great move on the center. That sort of handover, swipe, and through, and got the pressure on her. On Wentz on the ball that becomes the pick 6 for Hunt. I mean, he's right in his face and really took him down hard. I mean, you saw Wentz getting up from that. He was feeling it, because Wentz actually came into this game with an injury. He apparently had a pretty severe shoulder bruise.
Yeah.
That he was less than 100% at the start of the game, and taking that big hit didn't help. But yeah, I mean, you see Carter. I mean, he's one of those guys that just, if he's on the field, just his presence on the field changes everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not just the plays that he makes, and he make plenty, as he did there, but the problems he creates for the offense in terms of the way they have to concentrate on blocking him, and creates other opportunities and better matchups for the other guys up front. I mean, he is a game changer. I mean, there's no question about that. And when he can't play, they miss him. But it was nice. It was nice to have him back in this game. And he's one of the top 5 or 6 interior defensive linemen in the league. There's no question about that. And he's been, he hasn't been as dominant this year. I mean, he's had some moments. He's played well in spots, but he hasn't been, I think, the player that they wanted him to be necessarily. I mean, you can kind of see when Fangio is asked about him, the way he answers the questions, that he's sort of suggesting or implying that we kind of need more from him. And I think part of it has been the shoulder injury early, the heel injury now. I think he's been playing with some pain through this. But when he's healthy and when he's ready to go, and it certainly appeared that he was on Sunday, man, he's a game changer. There's no question about that.
I thought probably the best defensive play outside of Jalen Hunt's INT return, Cooper DeJean is one-on-one with Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, I had a feeling that's the one you were going to pull out.
My goodness. I mean, and Jefferson has the ball, and Cooper gets his hand in there and knocks it away. And even Justin, after the game, said, I got to make that catch. 99% of the time, I make that catch. He goes, but kudos to him. He made a play in the ball and knocked it away from me. The instinct of this young man in his second year, and not even 2 full years in the NFL, his instinct is way above the IQ level of what a defensive back should be at this stage. Just an incredible play. And of course, he's a sure tackler. He does everything that you ask almost perfectly for Vic Fangio defense.
Yeah, he does. And boy, when you look back on that draft of last year, and your top 2 picks are Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. I mean, to bring in 2 players in the same position, what a difference they have made. I mean, Mitchell had, he missed the previous game with the injury, and you had him back healthy, and what a difference he made in that game. I mean, you look at if you do the breakdown of how many times he was guarding Jefferson. I mean, I think Jefferson had like 1 catch when Mitchell was guarding him for 7 or 8 yards. Now, and a lot of times they threw away from him and they threw to Addison on the other side because they would rather throw at the other corner. They didn't want to throw at Mitchell very much. And then DeJean is so valuable because they play him all over the field. They can play him outside if they want to. Most of the time he plays in the slot. But the fact is he can guard anybody. He can guard the other team's number 1 receiver and make the kind of play that he made in the end zone, which is that ball's caught. I mean, I've seen Jefferson make that catch 40 times. He catches that ball. He doesn't drop that ball. And DeJean stayed with him and basically just stripped it from him in the end zone and saved you a touchdown right there. And in a game like that, that's a big, big play.
This defense is still, and I can't emphasize it enough, it is still a work in progress, but it still has that bend but don't break moniker to a certain degree. I mean, they held the Vikings to 1 for 6 in the red zone. I mean, if the Vikings convert even one more of those, we're sitting here talking about the Eagles in a losing situation more so than a winning situation. But those are character-defining moments. When you make a stand like that, and you've got Addison on one side who's torching his team all game, and you've got a perennial Pro Bowler and All-Pro and Justin Jefferson on the other side, and you hold them to 1 score, and neither one of those guys are the guys who put the ball in the end zone, I think you can walk away saying we did our job. It wasn't perfect, but we did our job when we had to do it.
Absolutely. I mean, well, you think about and you mentioned Addison and you mentioned Jefferson, who were really good receivers.
Mhm.
And Hawkinson
Yeah.
is a very good tight end and a big target. So, I mean, they have – we're talking about the Eagles' big play receivers. Vikings had them too. And to hold them one for 6 in the red zone, scoring touchdowns, that's pretty good. And, yeah, I mean, the Vikings got their yards. They moved the ball. I mean, this is another game now, 7 straight games. The Eagles have been outgained. I mean, their opponents, they're 5-2, but they've been outgained in every game. But if you hold the team 1 for 6 in the red zone, you can win that game. And that's what they did yesterday. I thought, and, the Vikings were a good red zone team coming in.
Yes.
The Vikings, I think, were number 8 in terms of red zone efficiency coming in. They had 15 red zone possessions and had scored 10 touchdowns in 15 possessions. Yesterday 1 for 6. So that was a pretty good showing. I found it interesting that the one red zone touchdown that they got out of those 2 possessions was the one where they went wildcat and they took the ball away from Carson Wentz and direct snapped it to the running back who got it to the end zone. So the one time they actually did score in the red zone, Carson Wentz was X's and O's out of the play.
Well, the bottom line is, as Jalen Hurts said, we ain't losers anymore. They snap a 2-game slide, and up next is the rematch against the New York Giants. Of course, and we'll discuss that one a little bit later in this week. And Ray, before I let you go, little birdie told me that something that you've been working on for quite some time is finally released. Can you tell me about it?
I'll do more than that. I'll show you it.
Yeah. Nice.
The Eagles Encyclopedia. This is, there's probably people out there saying, wait a minute, he's already written the Eagles Encyclopedia. Yeah. Well, and this is actually the 4th edition of it. Every time they win the Super Bowl, you got to update it. You got to get the most recent Super Bowl in there. So that's what they did. After they won the Super Bowl down in New Orleans, I sat down and started writing. And the result is we have this book. It's 542 pages of Eagles history, going all the way back. Anybody that's read any of the other encyclopedias know that, we go all the way back to the beginning of pro football in Philadelphia. We go back to the Frankfurt Yellow Jackets. We tell the history of how pro football started here, and we bring it up to the present day. You're right. It was quite a chore to write this book and turn it around in what amounted to about 5 weeks. I had to turn around a 500-page book. Probably one of the toughest deadlines I've ever dealt with, but I'm really, really happy with the way it turned out. It's a beautiful book, and it's got full stat sections. It's got every draft pick that's ever been made. Every year's drafts are in there, and it has a real nice section in the middle of all color photography from last season with some beautiful, beautiful pictures from last season. So it's a real fun book. I'm sort of kidding, not kidding necessarily, but talking about how hard the job was, and it was. But I was happy to do it because, listen, who wouldn't want to look back at that year? It was the greatest year in the team's history. 10 consecutive wins, 14 wins in the season, a phenomenal victory in the Super Bowl. That's a history worth telling, and we get to tell it in the Eagles Encyclopedia. The name of the book this time is Eagles Encyclopedia Champions 2, Roman numeral 2, with obviously the reverse hurdle as the cover shot. So it is in bookstores now, and it's also available on Amazon if you want to order it that way. So hopefully folks will go out and buy it, and I'll be doing a few book signings in the area too. So you can just check your bookstore and see if I'm going to be coming by in your neighborhood one of these days.
So your wife, once again, is a novel widow. Do you ever sleep? How many hours a day did you spend doing the update rewrite?
A lot, because it was all going down at the same time that I was writing the play. So my goodness. I was sort of doing 2 things at once. So yeah, to your point, I wasn't getting a whole lot of sleep, but it's all good. The 2 plays went really well, and I'm sort of kidding, but I'm not kidding. I'm really proud of the encyclopedia.
Yeah.
I think the people at Temple Press, I mean, they were under a lot of stress too. I mean, we were all working under the same deadline. And I think we're all really, really happy with the way it turned out. A lot of people had to really go the extra mile to get this book out, but it's out now. And I think people really enjoy it.
You write a 542-page book. I can't even write a sentence. It's just not fair, Ray. But that's why you are the Hall of Famer, Ray Didinger. All right, for this edition of Birds Weekly, for Ray Didinger, the Hall of Famer, the author, the playwright, and who knows what else we don't know about, I'm Derrick Gunn. Until next time, so long, everybody.